In the world of Hollywood, movies get greenlit and redlit. They get remade and rebooted. But we are the ideal. I'm Sam Gasch, and you are listening to Ideal Remake. Alright, today we're talking Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I almost just said the name of the movie wrong, and I am joined by Bethany Huwe and Isabella Egizi. Egizi? Egizi. I've never actually heard you say your last name out loud.
Me neither.
It's a rare occurrence.
All right. Well, it's set in stone now. We all have to get it right from this point on.
I already forgot.
I almost always forget how to pronounce it too because I hear it so infrequently.
I mean, my last name, the only people I've ever met with my last name are people I'm related, like people I'm immediately related to who I've known my entire life. So I have no occasion to hear my last name other than like, hey, we're the Gasch family.
Yeah. Well, my family says my name wrong.
Wait,
What?
what?
They don't speak Italian and they don't get that it's not. They all say Egizi.
That's definitely wrong.
Total, like, bastardization of my last name.
So anyway, we're talking about this movie, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Now, Bella, when was the first time you can remember seeing this movie?
Oh, I think I was probably like 10 years old or something. This was a childhood favorite of mine.
Oh.
I love
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bethany, what about you?
So, kind of total opposite than that. I was talking to my sisters about this because I have vague memories of, like, the animated parts of it. And apparently, my parents were vehemently opposed to us watching this film.
Really?
We were super into watching, like, all the Buena Vista, like, old Disney movies. Like, we'd rent them from the library. But this one, my parents refused to let us watch. And I thought it was because of the Nazis. But apparently, well, way back in the day, my parents used to be, like, super strict and did not want us doing anything or reading anything or watching anything that had to do with witchcraft.
Whoa!
So
that is not where I was expecting you to go with this.
Yeah, right? It's definitely different now. My parents have mellowed out. But basically...
I mean, what do you think of the Hocus Pocus episode we did?
Oh, well, that one, like, I'm pretty sure we used to, like, sneak watch when it was Halloween time. Like, there are a lot of things that we, like, watched on the down low. And
no,
then,
Mom, it's called Hocus Pocus because they love Jesus.
Exactly. It's so weird. The thing, it's like, we were definitely allowed to do Harry Potter. Like, my mom subsided with that one. But, like, this one was apparently too intense. So she didn't want any of us watching it. So my older sisters do not even remember watching this, but I distinctly remember the really animated scenes. So I must have, like, watched it at my friend's house or something.
I would not describe this movie as intense. They are the most casual, laid-back people about everything. Oh, the Nazis are invading. I guess we should show those fellows what for.
It's over and you're like, what? Did anything happen? I feel like we just took a nap on a fancy bed and like, flew around
very nonchalant. The kids are not even surprised when she's a witch. Like, they're just like, I told you she's a witch.
Just took it in stride.
Yeah.
I watched this movie because when I was a kid, we had like all the Disney movies on VHS, which apparently those things are worth something now, but at the time we didn't know and just gave them away.
So we thought VHS would last forever.
Yeah, but I remember watching this movie a lot as a kid, and I've always had the moment in my head of Emilius.
Yes.
Emilius, like, twitching his nose and turning into a rabbit. Like, that's something that I think about from time to time.
Deeply disturbing.
Yeah. But for some reason, I always had this movie confused with some other movie where, like, the stock market crashes. Is that Mary Poppins?
Yes. Yeah,
well,
and it's the same actor, actually.
The dad,
Is it?
yeah, it's the dad from Mary Poppins.
Mr. Banks.
I did not know that. I haven't seen Mary Poppins since I was a kid either. Like, I saw this movie when I was a kid, and then I have not seen it since.
This is a total ripoff
of Mary Poppins?
Yeah. 100%.
Apparently, they have the same actor.
Here's the thing. Disney bought the rights to Bedknobs and Broomstick before they got the rights to Mary Poppins.
Oh, it's the other way around.
It is.
Okay.
I know. But then when they made this, they were completely capitalizing on the success of Mary Poppins to the point where some of the songs in Bedknobs and Broomsticks were songs that they didn't fit into Mary Poppins.
Are you kidding me?
No, real thing.
It's like an appendage of Mary Poppins.
It completely is. Because I was looking it up because I was like, look, I understand the people over the animation. That's something that happened in Mary Poppins. It's something that was possible to do. But what I didn't know how they did was the flight. And
that was so 70s.
And the walking around armor. Like the one where it was just a shirt. And I was like, all right, it could have been on strings, it could have not been. There's a lot of puppets here if it was all on fishing wire. And I was trying to look up to see how they did it. And it was 12 surprising facts you might not know about Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And it was all just Angela Lansbury complaining that they took songs out of the movie.
Yeah, it's
my goodness.
Surprisingly devoid of music for a musical.
There's a lot of music in
this
movie.
There's a lot of music and, like, nonsense music. That was my frustration. I was just like, oh, they're singing now. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how a lot of musicals are.
So then I guess the next question is, Bella, did you like this movie?
So 10-year-old Bella Egizi loved this movie.
Yeah.
And I have such fond memories of, because this is when I fell in love with Angela Lansbury. And then my mom, of course, was like, oh, you have to watch Murder, She Wrote. And, like, I just like, watched everything Angela Lansbury. And so I think, like, growing up and stopping watching it at a certain point, I just had the memory of, like, the feeling of watching it and singing along. And also the name is just so fun. And I loved witches. And watching it this time for the first time in, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. Maybe like 8 years?
Yeah, it's a different movie. Bethany, this is the first time in a while you watched the movie. What do you think?
This is really like, my first solid viewing of it probably. Not my favorite. I very much, I think I would have really loved it as a kid had I been able to watch it. But because it totally was very, like, reminiscent of, like, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or
which
or
I've
Mary
never
Poppins. Seen. Oh God! Well, we got to do that one next then.
I'm for it.
But just like these fantastic kids movies where, like, anything literally was possible. Like, that kind of stuff is just so fun. I think, like, as an adult, it felt like it took a really long time to get to where we needed to get to because a lot of it was spent singing. But
I think that what they have here is they have 4 separate movies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to recommend that 2 of those really get thrown away entirely.
Yeah. I agree.
Sam?
We'll get into that.
Which 2 aren't worthy.
But yeah, because I also, like, when 7-8-year-old Sam was watching this movie, he loved it.
Yeah.
And then watching it now, I was like, what's this text message I just got? But, like, when little Charlie's going and he's screwing the bed knob back around the bed and it's lighting up and it's turning that, like, shade of pink.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that until I saw this movie again. And as soon as I'm watching it, I'm like, and, like, that little flutter came back to me. So that little bit I still like a lot.
I love the special effects in this movie.
Yeah.
I would want whoever remade this, I wouldn't want them to make it flashy, new CGI style. I would want them to keep some aspect of that.
Well, that's
like, do practical effects.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of practical effects, but one of the things that, especially because I was looking up how they did all these different things, is it's Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and it kind of felt like it was on the cutting edge of special effects.
Yeah.
So, kind of what's on the cutting edge of special effects is CGI, but when I was in high school, a lot of the different things we watched in theater class, Norm Testa would show us these movies, and he's like, this is the first time that they did something like this, and the audience did not know how it was done.
Yeah.
And there were movies where, like, it was just attempting to one-up each other. And I legitimately think that the big fight at the end with all of the different suits of armor and everything moving around and these big puppets was that. It was something to be impressive that people didn't know. I couldn't verify that on the internet, but I believe that.
Well, they had a pretty big budget for that time, too. So I have to imagine this was, like, a hugely received film, hopefully.
I mean, who can say?
Who
can't say. Maybe I'll ask someone around that time.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So it's hard to say, all right, so what cutting edge trick would you guys use to make this impressive? Other than, like, we should have some.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me a little, that last battle scene reminds me of the battle scene in Narnia, the first Narnia movie that came out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They had that epic battle scene with all the leopards and the like
all the different
and
animals,
polar bears and stuff. And I remember there being so much buzz about that scene because that was like the most like CGI extras, I think you would call it, that they'd ever put on that scale.
And now we have the Jungle Book.
And now we have like
Lion King that they're remaking.
Jurassic Park is like dinosaur battles happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So I feel like today's audience is very much desensitized to special effects, and we're like at like a rapid pace too. Because that, like, Narnia came out. That movie must have come out when I was in maybe like the 8th grade, I think.
That sounds right.
And
sure.
And it hasn't been that
ago.
long since then.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing how I'm not really surprised by anything anymore.
Yeah, so like how can you surprise people? And I feel like the best way to do it is like
practical.
That's the thing. Everything's been done. It's hard to impress people.
But there's stunts, there's like true stunts and like puppetry. I think people are still really wowed by puppetry.
Yeah.
I think that you could go the other way. So the things that I watch now and really impress me isn't necessarily puppetry. It's watching something like Buster Keaton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something that you don't see anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Instead of doing make it as modern as possible, go fully retro and do something that isn't seen anymore.
Yeah.
So something like that.
Yeah.
That was when I first started like studying film and aspiring like hardcore to be a filmmaker. I remember being like, okay, when I make movies, I'm gonna bring it back to like the way they used to make movies, like using practical effects and having like an ultra long intro credit sequence to music.
Love it.
Because everybody loves those and doesn't forward through them.
Definitely didn't go to like brush my teeth.
With a musical intro.
I was like, I just want to like bring it back to that because it's so different now that like people might actually appreciate it. Because like I have like split feelings about it because I was so surprised by the Jungle Book. Like I really was impressed by that. But then on the other side of it, I mean, I didn't see this, so maybe I can't fully judge it. But they did Pete's Dragon as a remake recently. I don't think it did well. I mean, I think it was fine for a kids movie. But like, I remember seeing the trailer and being like, ugh, this isn't the same as watching a life child ride a 2D animated dragon. Like. I don't like 3D renderings and live action people. It just doesn't.
Full disclosure, I've also never seen any movie named Pete's Dragon.
I think
I watched the old one that came out in like the 70s a lot. That was one of the many that we rented from the library. But definitely that is also, I mean, it probably, my memory of that is probably the same of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, so. But I don't know.
Hard to say.
Now I kind of want to watch the new Pete's Dragon, and I also want to see the new Mary Poppins and see how exactly they did that.
Well, the thing about Mary Poppins is that it's not a remake; it's a sequel.
Yeah, that's.
And
true.
also, as you'll hear in the Superman episode, I love Emily Blunt. She's great, and more power to her. I will watch everything she's in that isn't a horror movie.
Whoa, there. Did you not see Quiet Place?
I can't watch horror movies.
Can't.
Dude,
I'm so bad at it.
That transcends horror.
It
transcends the genre.
But I still can't watch it.
Yeah, it's still terrifying, but I promise you, it
I'm not going to watch it. It doesn't work like that. That's not how my brain works.
No, I'm not. Clips that aren't scary. They're just beautiful filmmaking.
Yeah,
I can find that in so many places.
Not John Krasinski and Emily Blunt style, though.
I'm sure they'll do more things together. They're married.
Basically, all you need to know is, I think the best acting work she's ever done was in that movie.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I've seen Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of
and
Tomorrow
Looper
is great. And Looper. And even that train movie that was terrible.
Snowpiercer?
No.
Snowpiercer's great.
She does one where she's...
Girl on the Train.
Girl on the Train, that's what it is.
Oh, I haven't seen
Isn't
that
she
one.
also in The Devil Wears Prada?
Yes, she is. That was like one of her first films, or was her first film.
I have not seen that.
Oh, that's
Oh
a
my
good
god.
one.
You must. It's classic.
That one I'm okay with watching. That'd be fun. That'd be a good movie.
That one's pretty horrific.
Anyway,
Anyways.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
back
Sounds
on
like
track.
we're casting Emily Blunt. Kidding. I'm absolutely not.
I don't have her. I just... No. But let's talk about this movie. So, if we're remaking this movie, what is the core essence of this movie that we feel like we need to capture?
That you need magic to defeat Nazis.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The Nazi plotline I would entirely throw away.
Okay, so so this was my take on it. Was like, let's make it a more modern spin.
Absolutely, me too.
The song that I
Me
feel
too.
like perfectly encapsulates the message that I think is why I adored Angela Lansbury so much, because she made my childhood heart sing, was The Age of Not Believing. I think that's what the title of the song is.
I think
Yeah.
that is, agree 100%, that's the song that is the core of the movie.
Yeah, and I think, like, speaking to people now, speaking to adults now, and kids too, who
Yeah.
are like totally taken. Like, kids do not get to experience magic as a concept nearly as long as we did as kids. So that song to me is almost a metaphor for like the age, like our age
right now.
as humans is the age of not believing.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So it sounds like we all three of us want to put it in a modern context, which is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Less arguing, cutting to the chase.
Yes. I
So-
originally had gone somewhere else, and then this morning I decided to change it because I wanted it to be modern, so I'm glad we're all there.
Yeah.
Excellent. So here was my pitch. I wanted to put it in a modern context, and I wanted to make it fun and fancy free. Like, well, we're having fun, we're going exploring and discovering things. But I also wanted to have the context of strife. I mean,
Right.
the reason why Angela Lansbury is, hey, here's some children, is because they're literally escaping London in the middle of World War II, because London is being blitzkrieged.
Right.
And the comparison to that is refugees.
Yes.
So I did not cast the three children, and I just wrote down unknown Syrian kid. Did you really?
Whoa, guys,
Syrian
I
refugee
spent
children.
so much
That's-
time searching for child actors. Are you kidding me?
No, we're just gonna scout some.
I mean, I
schools.
definitely want unknown, lovely children, but...
Well, we're excited to hear who you picked.
Give us
As-
some names, because
Yeah.
we don't have any.
Well, no, but
They're out there somewhere.
And Bethany, are the children you looked for white?
Yes, but I wasn't trying to restrict it to that. Actually, yes, they all are.
All right. We'll cross the bridge when we come to it,
Such a
and we will
loaded
applaud you for
I
your
was-
work and your choices when we
I
get
was
to our
also,
recasting.
just very small disclaimer, I was thinking in terms of, I mean, I love the idea of refugee children way, way better, but more in the terms of we want to fight back against what's happening in America right now, so that's partly why. But don't worry about it. Continue what you're saying, Sam.
So that's kind of why I was thinking, like, Syrian refugees. Like, here are these kids, they've come from this horrible place, and we want to give them a better, and we want to, make things better. But
I thought
Yeah.
either that or like DACA kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally those are my two
Yeah.
options.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So Bella and I are on exactly the same page.
literally the same page. You guys cheated off each other.
But so I think that's where, like, the origin, that's where they should be coming from, and that's something we should have in the back of our head. And then we go on an adventure, because one of the big problems and a lot of the things that happen is treating people that we don't know and don't understand as other. And that's unfortunately something that a lot of people in this country do.
Right.
And it shouldn't happen. So I think we take in some of those people who are seen as other and then treat them the exact same way we would treat a family of 3 white kids.
Right.
3 obnoxious white
Oh
kids.
my god, the
Sexy white
worst
kids.
white kids in the world. I hated their words.
The worst part of London.
And the one kid in the tie, the Paul, he just comes in and he's just a little shit.
No, not Paul. I think Charlie's the shit.
Charlie,
Paul's adorable.
I thought Charlie was the really small one.
No, Charles is the one who starts acting like a freaking gangster.
Oh, well,
He's the middle one, but let's be real, both the boys are absolute shit, okay? I mean, Carrie's whatever, but she's way better than them.
She is, but she also has no character.
None at
The
all.
little boy is
None. I had
adorable
the
'cause he
hardest
reminds me of
time
Andrew
thinking
Manley.
of someone for her.
The little one is?
The little boy reminds me of Andrew Manley, who was separated from his family during World War II. And
Really?
he found like all of these letters in his father's attic that were love letters between his father and his mother because they were having an affair, and he was a love child from their affair, and they were separated because of the war. Anyways,
God.
That's adorable.
Reminds me of
What
Andrew
what an adorable little bastard.
Wow.
Andrew Manley was our professor in college.
Oh yeah, good point. Andrew Manley, Bella and I went to Colorado College, and Andrew Manley was our theater professor there.
Yeah.
And
I know.
my-
A
and
little
my-
inside
and my
joke we
thesis
all have
advisor.
that I'm not actually a part of.
Well, Bethany,
are.
you are dating someone who also went to Colorado College.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Previous
I've heard a
guest of
lot
the
about
show, Zach
this.
Luna.
Yes.
Keeping it in the fam.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a backstory, but that's not really a through line for what I thought the movie would be. So, of the 4 core aspects of this movie, I think the first one is Angela Lansbury trying to become a really good witch.
Yep.
The search for the other half of this book.
Well, yeah, trying to find this spell specifically.
Get it? Yeah. Hanging out with Emilius. And then Nazis.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those Nazis came out of nowhere. I mean, I know we were in England during Nazi Germany time, but like, that was so...
This was made in
Crazy.
the 70s. They should know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I would cut the Nazis entirely, because that's not what I think the most interesting thing of the movie is.
Right.
I
Right.
think our bookman, the
Yeah.
bookman, he's
Yeah.
our real villain.
Yeah.
And the fact
Making it
that,
bigger.
yeah,
I was like, where'd he go?
yeah,
Yeah.
They meet this guy. All of a sudden, he's trying to do magic too.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Was he trying to do magic? He was just trying to find these other words. But then he was surprised when magic was possible.
Right.
Yeah, like, what was the deal with that whole sequence? I was just like, oh my goodness. Who
Like,
are
Well,
these
like
characters
something
and
got
why do they
cut.
never show up?
Yeah.
Clearly that the guy, they were both murderers.
His henchman
Yeah.
was
The
such
knife?
an awesome character,
His henchman was
Right?
fine.
but like could be played with so much.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then he just like I loved the moment where they discover, you kind of see it coming, but they discover, like, as they're looking through the pages of the book, like, their pages are supposed to complete each other, and then they both, and it could be one of those awesome setups where the villain and the protagonist have to kind of work together.
Right.
Like-
Or they try working together and
But
they
they're
realize that their
actually-
goals are different and they have to,
Yeah.
like,
Or
and
they
then they're
could be-
antagonistic.
Yeah, they're, like,
Yes.
secretly conning each other, or, you know, I just feel
Yeah.
like he could have had a through line paralleling theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then-
he, like, yeah. Or he could have easily been the guy that we, like, oh, we think he's a bad guy, but he's actually, like, very good or something. I don't know.
I'm okay with him being a bad guy.
But
Yeah.
we could, like, question at some point, like, is he
Yeah.
maybe good? Is he maybe coming around? Because the best
Yeah.
villains are the ones where you have a glimpse of their humanity and you're like, oh, I see
And then they
you."
throw it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, and
Where
then
you
you're like, "Oh, I love
understand
you."
and emulate, and then you're like, oh, wait, just kidding. They're bad. Just
Well,
kidding.
The Bookman's arc and Emilius's arc are kind of parallel to each other in the sense that they both kind of start bad, but Emilius becomes good and Bookman should become worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's,
that.
the good bad guy. and
Not
the bad
parallels,
bad guy.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would like it if they were more closely connected because it'd be more interesting if the two of them were partners.
They had a
Right.
history.
And then
In this fake
Emilius
magic
was
school.
on Miss Price's side and
Right.
then
Oh my
like,
God.
went
What's
off
her
to do
name?
something.
Eglantine?
Eglantine.
funny name.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
No
yeah,
offense
yeah.
to anyone named Eglantine.
I was extremely uncomfortable with the quote-unquote chemistry between Eglantine and Emilius. I was just like, what's happening here? I don't like it.
They
Yeah.
had
Anybody
no
else feel that
chemistry
way?
at all.
Strange.
None. Okay, cool. It wasn't just me.
Like, the fact that they got together at the end seemed like a matter of course for the script, but I was not shipping that, like, at all.
Yeah, me neither. Literally, when she tells him that, like, doing the spells worked for her, he, like, very slowly looks her up and down, and I'm like, no. No, please don't look at her that way.
Oh, yeah,
The
no.
start to the scene under the sea when they're... All I could think of was how people talk about the Little Mermaid song Under the Sea as, like, a sexual innuendo.
Oh,
Is it?
I never heard
Yeah.
that.
Wait, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
Me neither.
Under the sea.
Tell us.
Well, the C word.
Oh.
Oh.
Under the sea.
And this just got...
Down where it's wetter.
Oh,
to take
got
it
it.
from me.
Just got R-rated.
All right, now I get it.
Anyways, that's what. But the whole beginning of that song in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, when they're underwater and they're like lounging on the bed and the kids are at the foot of the bed in front of them, it starts to sound a little bit like.
I see,
like,
I see where you're
guys,
coming from. Yeah.
I'm not feeling the vibes here.
Very, very strange.
So,
yes.
the kid, the actual really young one's Paul, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's the deal with his Deus Ex Machina book?
Wait, what?
The book that he just is
Oh,
in
no.
random house that Emilius is squatting in.
Right.
Yeah, which we never learn whose house that is.
And he finds a book that is about the person that they're looking for.
Yeah. And about all the animals and where they
Island
live
of
now.
Naboo.
The random children's book he finds in this house has the spell that they're looking for by happenstance.
Right.
For anybody listening to this podcast that has not watched this movie and probably will not watch this movie, you're going to be insanely confused because we're insanely confused.
We're gonna keep mentioning these very strange, like, little nuggets that don't fit in.
Well, don't
That's
connect.
Not right at all.
Unrelated, but that's why I've been doing the mini episodes on the off weeks before I do the main episode. It's that way I announce the episode a week ahead of time so people have a week to watch the movie. That way we don't have to do a shot-by-shot, like, step walkthrough.
Okay.
Which,
Right.
for some movies I do, because Barbarella's a weird movie.
Yeah.
And you're not going to rewatch Barbarella, but some people might watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Like, I told people I was doing Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and they're like, oh, I used to love that movie. That was a childhood favorite.
Yeah.
And-
It ruins it for
I
you
hope-
watching it now.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. Now we get to make it better.
Yeah.
But I like that we're all in agreement that, like, Bookman's the real villain.
Yeah, I think
Bookman's
he
the
could
real
have something
villain.
to do with that book.
So, with that in mind, and because I think we should take Nazis out of this completely,
Right.
what are their respective goals? Miss Price wants to learn magic because she wants to help people. What does he want to learn magic for? I presume selfish gain.
I
mean,
feel
power
like
is usually the regular motive.
Yeah, I see him sort of as a rebel, so if he's some kind of, like... I see him, to make him more sympathetic slightly, even if, like, briefly, he's trying to start some kind of, like, magic/political rebellion or something. I don't know. If this is, like...
Yeah.
Considering this as present or like slightly futuristic America, where we're very divided and we have refugees, which is happening now, and he's kind of this like bad good guy, kind of Magneto style, where like you can see where he's coming from, but he's going about it the wrong way.
So what's his end goal?
I feel like
Take over the world.
Okay, so he wants to appeal to the people in order to gain power and take over the world.
Just make it better. He wants to make America great again.
Oh,
no. Well, I mean, honestly though, that would be kind of, yeah, that's exactly how it would be if we want to make him the secret bad guy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make him the charismatic guy who's appealing to everyone, and hey, no, magic's cool. Like, look, we're getting to do this amazing thing.
He wants magic to win the election, that's why.
Yeah,
I don't know if you necessarily need to make him a politician, because I think that's a little on the nose.
Not a politician. I mean, he has a political agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he literally wants to use magic to take over He wants to skip all the lines and be number one.
Yes.
So
As they do.
So what's Miss Price trying to do? Because she may not necessarily know about his motive ahead of time. So what's her goal with magic?
I had a hard time trying to figure out her goal with magic in this film. Like, I know she wants to be a decent witch, even though at the end she's very much like, oh, I knew I'd never be a good witch because of my
because I didn't
liver.
like dragon poops.
Yeah, it was very weird.
That was so sexist.
It was so but basically, like, I knew, like, she wanted this particular spell because I thought she had a specific thing in mind to try and defeat help the war effort.
Me too. In fact, she says that.
Yeah,
that's completely
literally her motivation.
And then literally,
bails.
it's totally out the window until the Nazis actually attack, and then she's just like, "Oh yeah, I could use that spell."
Well, that's how I feel about a lot of like academics. It's like, well, yeah, no, pursuit of knowledge. We're definitely going to figure like this fusion thing. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're using my fusion for bombs? I never could have foreseen the pursuit of knowledge to be used for evil.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
and that's how I see her.
Yeah. I feel like because she just seems like this kind of quirky, odd gal. Because, I mean, she's lived alone in this big house for so long, and she's just doing her own thing that, like, they're this secret witch work or whatever. Like, I feel like...
Well, she's a cat lady.
She is a cat lady with, what was his name? Something Creeper? Cosmic Creeper, which I thought was a great cat name.
You know what?
Cat was a way bigger part. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, look, all of us want the cat to be Salem.
Well, Detour, was that cat real or was it fake? Because I couldn't tell.
I think sometimes it was not real.
I think it went back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely was very much like Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but, like, within the shot, it would change from fake cat to real cat. Because
I kept being impressed
fuzzy.
I kept being impressed by both the cat and the rabbit.
Yeah.
Both of them were very well trained.
The rabbit was such a good actor.
Yeah.
It did all these, like, fake outs, like, looking in the door and then, like, bouncing away.
Pulling a book off a shelf.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, they used to really train these animals back in the day, but it was kind of abusive, so, like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it was awful, but, like, for us, it was entertaining.
Yeah,
Can you bring that back? True. Kidding.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, I feel like her end goal is really just to try and be, like, the best witch, but she kind of realizes, like, I don't need to be the best witch, I just need to use my powers for good, kind of.
Well, here's my pitch. My pitch is that it's a pursuit of knowledge thing. Like, she wants to be the best witch, but it's just for the glory of, yeah, I'd really like to know how to do all these things because...
Yeah.
She's the Hermione. She always wants to, like, be the best at everything, and she found something to be the best at.
Yes.
And... I feel like it's her interactions with Emilius, someone who uses magic just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she's like, well, no, all of a sudden she kind of develops these morals, like, you need to be using magic for the betterment of humanity. Something she may have thought, but never really made practical and applicable.
Right.
And kind of like she and Emilius bounce off each other and make each other better because they are able to use each other to kind of see an end goal. Mm. He's able to be an actual charismatic leader who has the best wishes of the people at heart, and she's actually able to be someone full of a lot of knowledge who's able to use that knowledge to help people. Like, they actually become a pair that works together for the betterment of humanity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
With way better chemistry this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, please, please.
Well, I don't know if their chemistry will work with my particular casting, but they'll be able to fake it really well.
That's how I feel as well.
There's a distinct possibility, Bethany, that you and I have the same Emilius, based off of the way you just responded to that, and I'm excited to find out who it is.
I'm very curious, too, because I don't know if you will guess who I have.
Are we doing a gender swap thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did?
I did a gender swap for Paul. That was the only one I did a gender swap for.
That's fine. I just have unknown Syrian kid for Paul.
Yes. Fair.
Boy or girl.
All right, so that makes sense for, like, the kind of the core crux of our movie. It's going to be modern.
Yeah.
These kids are going to be from elsewhere, and it's going to be learning about our world and also kind of experiencing the joy. So, I think the quest is to discover spells and learn more magic, and I do love the fact that they go into a 2D animated world, and I think that's something you should keep.
Yeah,
totally.
I actually very much agree with that. I miss seeing 2D animation.
Me too.
I want it to come back.
I mean, as soon as they did it in this movie, I was thinking, oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit's so good.
Yeah. No, I love when we mix stuff like that. I mean, they did it in Mary Poppins too.
Yeah.
They did it in, have you seen The Incredible Mr. Limpet, I think?
Yeah.
I'm aware of that movie, but I've never
it's a
seen
Don
it.
Knotts movie.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Is
so
it?
Good. Yeah, he turns into a fish, and then
Yeah.
everything underwater is animated.
That's fun.
It's really
I think
cute.
I mixed that movie up with this one in my memory because
yeah.
I remember underwater sequences, and I think it was mostly from that movie, but I do remember them dancing. So.
Also about Nazis.
Yep. Also, yeah.
I mean, it was
Very,
a very
timely topic.
prevalent theme at the time.
Yeah.
But Bethany, you said you really wanted to keep the Eglantine Market. What was it?
Portobello Road.
Portobello
Which
Road.
I
I
actually was joking. I really don't want to keep that at all.
Portobello Road?
Oh, the
Porta-
Portobello
oh.
Road. Wow.
about
All right. For you,
Bella.
Bella,
My epic pitch.
I will write that down that we are recasting.
And just super enunciate.
And I will just do a solo piece.
Perfect.
In the street.
You just
In
cast
place
yourself
of
as Miss
Feed the
Price.
Birds. It'll be Portobello Road.
That was
told,
was such an
I was-
insane sequence.
Here's the thing. I loved that dance sequence.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was incredibly multicultural.
Yes.
No one looked down on anyone else other than like, haha, look at the crazy dance those guys are doing, which
Yeah.
the kids did and no one else did.
Yeah.
I would
Those
pitch to
stupid
make
kids.
it a little bit less segregated though, because it did feel
Fair.
a little bit like one of those outdated
And us and them.
musical
Yeah,
dance
yes.
pieces. It's like now there's this culture and now there's this culture and it's like
Yes.
this group, and it like verged on like West Side Story.
Yeah.
Like here's the Puerto Ricans up on the roof.
Basically.
Yeah.
Which I want, like, the thing, I love diversifying it and making it obvious that this is a mixed city,
Yeah.
you know, and especially if the children are immigrants or refugees or what have you, I don't want to just, like, cast those kids and then not talk about it. It should be a prevalent part of the story and, like, their journey in figuring out their place in this country, and I think that scene could be kind of transformed to be like they see some of their culture from home being brought into the mainstream here, or you know, they see.
And even if it's, I mean, my pitch would be it's a big multicultural dance like what you're saying, because I think that is right. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And you kind of do the thing where it's like, hey, a big circle of people dancing, and then one person jumps in and does the dance, and another person jumps in and does the dance. Like, and it's each individualized things. And there happen to be a couple people who are also Syrian. They do a dance, and then they jump back out because they're a part of everybody.
Yes.
There was a podcast I was listening to today that was talking about how 80s movies always had, like, high schools broken down into cliques.
Yeah.
And you think about our time in high school, our time in college, and that wasn't really a thing that existed. And that's even more the case now, where high schools are kind of a melting pot, where a person is seeking their own individuality, but they're doing that in the broader scope of this community of people, as opposed to segmenting yourself as being, well, I'm one of the jock kids, so I do what the jock kids do. And that's what I feel like this scene would be. It's a big melting pot of people. Here's this one individual, and now they're part of the community again.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I super.
Because that's what the Port of Bella is all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like Bella's Island.
Yeah. Oh, Gullah Gullah Island.
Did you get it? Get it?
I don't get it.
Ellis Island, Bellas.
Sam.
I'm really stretching it here.
Just a Gilligan's Island thing?
Ellis
No.
Island.
Oh, Ellis Island. Look, we're wearing headphones. I'm missing some of the subtleties.
No,
I apologize.
I also sang a theme song of a really old Disney Channel show, so it's fine.
Wait, which
Wasn't
show
even
is-
Disney
oh,
Channel.
Gilligan's Island.
I think it was PBS, actually. I don't know.
PBS,
Oh,
woohoo!
I wouldn't know.
And
I
Zog
didn't
Godzilla.
have TV as a kid. I was busy watching VHS tapes of Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
My sister and
All
I were
the
sitting and watching
nostalgia.
reruns of The Nanny.
Yes.
wow.
All the things. Guys, we all had semi-similar childhoods, but also not in any way whatsoever.
Correct. And that's why we're fun.
That's why we are a good group.
All right, cool. So that we kind of have a sense of what we want the movie to be, roughly.
Yeah.
Different arc, but, more directed, like an actual plot instead of, we're now over here.
Yeah.
But I think that that's kind of a cool idea. So
Yeah.
let's start getting into who we want to actually portray these people.
Yes.
Let's start with the 3 children, just because I don't think we'll spend as much time on them, because
You
Bella
guys
and
didn't
I
cast anybody.
didn't cast anybody because we're definitely right. But
Yes, you're
I'm
extremely right. You're extremely right.
But whenever it comes time for recasting, I'm really bad at coming up with children. So Bethany, I would like to hear the kids you cast and then possibly use them in the future. So tell me about these amazing kids that you're aware of.
So here's the thing. All the kid actors that I want to play these roles are not kids anymore. So I had to do some heavy research into what up-and-coming kids are hot right now and kind of like who I could really see.
All the
Which
But they
honestly,
need to be younger
though,
than the Stranger Things kids.
Sorry.
Well, no, I wasn't looking at any of those kids. Although I did briefly consider Millie Bobby Brown. As
Me too.
Carrie.
And then I was like,
There was
he's too old.
because when I was originally casting, I was going for like I kind of wanted the remake to be like a Narnia remake where it really does take place in the 1940s and they are authentically British and everything is that. But then I was just like, that's limiting and boring, so no, thank you. But I do have some fun British things. I did briefly want to cast Bella Ramsey, aka Lyanna Stark, as either Carrie or a gender-swapped Paul. Because, fun fact, she's already on a British Netflix show about witches called The Worst Witch. And it's really weird to see badass Lyanna Stark as as a tiny witch. But then I scrapped all of that. So this is what I came up with. And one of them is going to be one of the children from A Quiet Place just because he was so dang good. So Sam, you will not recognize this child, but
Sure won't.
his name is Noah Joop. He was the older boy. He actually is British in real life, but he does play an American in the movie of A Quiet Place. But he was just a really great actor, and George Clooney highly recommends him. So,
She's like, Bethany, you've got to see this kid.
You've got to see
I'm
this kid.
charismatic, and my word holds weight.
So
Drink some tequila.
He would be a great Charlie, and he would actually be endearing and charming. But also, I definitely am more agreeing with you guys, and that I also just want to like pull in kids that are not represented right now. But I had also Brooklyn Prince, who's one of the little girls in the Florida Project. Also as a gender swapped Paul, because I haven't watched the Florida Project, but I've watched a lot of interviews with her, and she's super cute.
She's incredible.
That's Zach basically was just like, we're gonna watch that, and I was like, okay, cool.
She would be such a good Paul.
She would. And then I think I want Carrie to just be a better character. I feel like she deserves more. I was considering there's a young actress named Rowan Blanchard.
That is a very British name.
It is, but she's not British. She was in the remake of Boy Meets World on Disney, Girl Meets World, and she plays Corey Matthews' daughter. And she's actually a fun little like activist now. I think she's left Disney, thank God. But she's beautiful.
Well, she has to, otherwise Disney would break her. Like
Exactly.
It does all its other child stars, with the exception of Christy Carlson Romano.
Well, right. And I agree with you there. And she's just very, like...
Oh, was she in A Wrinkle in Time?
Looks
apparently, which I refuse to see that sequel or not sequel, but that remake also. For a while, but I feel like I must. But I'm pretty sure she is in that. But she's a great actress, and she's very well informed of the current events. So I figured she could bring something to the table there. But those
are
were
some wonderful children that you came up with,
Yeah.
Bethany, and I will definitely use them in the future, but not
in this film.
The next thing that I did, because I'm going to start small and work my way up, is
Yes.
I cast some voice actors for the 4 animals.
Yeah.
Very good.
Did you do that, Bethany?
I did not do that. I wrote down the animals to cast them, but then I was just like, there
So
are
what-
so
what
many
animal
voice
would-
actors.
What animal would you like to cast as the cod? Were you thinking a trout this time? Change it up?
You're so funny.
All right.
You
so
know
then,
what I meant.
so now it's Bella and my turn,
Yeah,
I
so
suppose.
you guys jump in here.
So let's go in order of appearance. Let's start with the cod.
I did not cast the cod.
All right.
He
So
wasn't important.
I had Billy West as the cod.
Oh wait, who's he?
He voices everything.
Okay.
Like he's
Wait.
Fry.
I'm sure I love
He's
him.
Oh, yeah.
in Space Jam. He's Bugs Bunny.
Oh, yeah,
Amazing.
he's great.
But I cast him also because he's Zoidberg.
Okay.
And so he's
Ah.
good at playing an aquatic type person.
I
So there you go.
think right now off the top of my head, D. Bradley Baker.
D. Bradley Baker
Keeping
is
it in the
great.
fam.
And weirdly enough, I should have pulled D. Bradley Baker and didn't.
Also,
Wow.
a Colorado
All right.
College alum.
Yeah, I'm changing the cod to D. Bradley Baker.
Wow.
Who won
guys.
several Emmys for playing the fish in Family Guy. I
Not
can't
Family Guy,
remember.
American Dad.
I
That's
got
true.
those
He
two
is a
confused
fish.
all the time.
All right.
So
cool.
we cast the cod.
Next order of appearance, we have the bear.
Oh, God. I wanted to cut that bear. Not, like, physically cut him. I just don't want him in the movie.
No, but wait till you hear my cast.
All right,
Yes.
give me your
Tell us
casting.
about it.
Kate McKinnon.
Oh, yeah,
As the
okay. Never
bear?
mind.
Yes, as the bear.
Yes, please.
Everyone
Yes.
wants to cast Kate McKinnon
You
and
know,
Donald Glover in every
No.
movie we
For
do.
what? Okay,
I
for what
think-
the rest of my casting is, Kate McKinnon is perfect, so I'm for it.
Okay. Kate McKinnon just brings. I love the idea of them getting to this island and having it be like New York. It's just like this
She's
crazy.
Such
like,
a good character voice actor.
Oh.
Yeah.
So good.
Hold everything. What city are we setting this movie in?
Okay.
Because if we get to the island and it's like New York, does that mean we're doing this in London or are we doing this in the United States?
I was picturing it as still being in London because of Brexit.
Oh.
Interesting.
And then, so instead of Nazis, it's Brexit dipshits.
Fair.
I
I'll give
don't
that
know
to
if
you.
I can say that.
All right, I'm comfortable with
and
that.
then-
I cast exclusively Americans.
Okay.
Yeah.
American actors can do British accents.
No, they can't.
No, not all.
Not the ones I cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, that's not true. I cast
didn't
one British
think
person.
a whole lot about accents. I just was kind of like, these people would be great voices.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy to do Kate
Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon just does such a good.
But I
voice.
don't want her to do that voice.
Yeah,
But
I
she-
don't want that voice, but I do want her
I
to
hate that
have
voice
fun
so
with it.
much. I cast Maurice Lamarche because he's good at doing the kind of big voice.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
Morbo.
He sounds like a bear.
He's also the brain. Like in Pinky and the Brain, he's the brain.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
kidding me? That's amazing.
And so basically, I cast Maurice Lamarche as the bear, and then for the bird, I cast Rob Paulson, who's Pinky.
Oh, funny.
Because I wanted to kind of like have because the bear
Have a secret throwback in there.
a little bit. I mean, they work together all the time on lots of stuff, but
Yeah.
I did it because the bird is kind of the dumb. It's like the hoity-toity one who's an idiot, and the bear someone was like, well, look, here's the rules of our society. I look dumb, but I'm not. Like one of my favorite tropes in movies, and they did this in Titan AE, which is a weird animated movie that I'm pulling from, is you take this like the stereotypical dumb guard, and then you just make them really smart
Like
and
scholarly.
yeah, you make them like yeah.
Yeah.
There's sensitive stuff in here that it's my responsibility to guard. You think an idiot can't guard this stuff? I might be big, but I'm smart enough to see through your bullshit. And anyway, that's why I wanted to do Maurice Lamarche.
Okay.
I like it.
That's fair.
But who'd you have for the bird?
Jenny Slate.
I'm comfortable with that. That's done. So
I'm so into that, and now, wait, no, I want her to be Miss Price. That's not who I had cast, but
I
oh
feel-
my gosh, I just want her in this movie somewhere.
She's
So she can
brilliant.
mispronounce symbiote?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Sam, that is not who she is. Stop hanging her for that mistake.
I'm not hanging her for the mistake. That's the scriptie's fault, the director's fault, everyone on set's fault for not going, excuse me, Jenny?
It's also a little bit
No.
her fault. She's
What
smarter
if they
than
told her
that.
to?
What?
What if they told her to?
Then they're awful human beings.
Yeah, what if they were like, you will not get paid your money if you don't pronounce it this way.
Yeah. All right. Jenny Slate as
what
the
I
bird is wonderful.
I
so
love
who'd
that.
who'd you have for the lion?
Idris Elba.
I can
Because
see that.
he's a king.
Yeah. I had John
He's-
Goodman.
He's
Oh,
also a
John
great
Goodman's
voice
good
actor.
too. But
Yeah.
Idris Elba, I just like... He's
John
just got that
Goodman is-
beautiful booming voice. And he can be really loud when he needs to. And then he can come down to this like very elegant,
Yeah.
Works
like
for me.
powerful,
Love it.
Yeah.
calm.
And I'm sure that we will have other animated peoples.
Yes.
Yeah,
'Cause-
let's bring some more animals into
Yes.
this.
Because not gonna lie,
Animation diversity, guys.
I
Yes.
loved that soccer match. That soccer match was super
So
fun for
good.
me.
We
It
should
was
really
really
draw
fun.
that out.
It's
should
really
what that
fun.
out?
Draw it out.
Literally.
Literally.
And figuratively, I like it.
I had another voice actor for
Really?
an animal. I would like the cat to talk.
Yes.
I would
Salem.
not.
What? Wait to hear my casting, though.
I'm excited to hear your casting, but here's my pitch for why the cat shouldn't talk.
Okay.
I do that gimmick in a script I wrote, and I don't want it used anywhere else.
Oh, Sam. Okay.
But tell me who you had for the cat.
Buzzkill.
Julie Andrews as an
Oh.
homage.
I
want her
As an
to-
homage to what?
To
That's cute.
To Mary
To
Poppins
Disney.
and Sound of Music and just
To
she's
everything she
always,
did for
like,
Disney.
Yeah, and I picture the cat, like that cat is kind of rough looking.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
real-
why I
real
liked
rough
the
looking.
cat.
Sounds terrifying. I would love for her meow to sound terrifying, and then when she's alone and we hear her inner thoughts,
Yeah.
it's Julie Andrews, and she's like this really elegant British lady who's like, I'm just too refined for these.
Here's my pitch for that instead.
Dumb children.
I do not think the cat should talk in reality because I think that it's expected, and I think
No,
it's more
it's
interesting if it's a real. Hear me out.
Okay.
If it's a real cat, but I think it would be more interesting if the cat gets on the bed and comes with them to the animated
Yes.
world, and in the animated world, it's an anthropomorphic cat.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally sold.
Very
I
much
love it.
like Pip in Enchanted.
Yeah,
Or the opposite of Enchanted. Or, well, yeah. When Pip is animated in 2D, he could talk, but in the real world, he can't because he's a chipmunk.
actually
Correct.
has chipmunk vocal.
I mean, I would still have it be like a real cat, and just like it's just a cat. And then when you're in the animal world, you're like, yeah, no, I'm still a cat.
I like
what you guys
it.
are doing is weird, and I don't understand it.
I'm into that compromise.
Yes.
I like it.
Cool. All right, so that brings us to Mr. Jelk, the priest.
Oh, I
Who
didn't like
played
him.
Octavius.
No one likes him.
Cleopatra and Antony. Can we just cut him?
Can we just
well,
cut him?
I cast
Do we
someone
need
who's
him?
obnoxious in a good way, and also I think it'd be funny if this particular gentleman played a priest.
Okay.
Okay.
John Hodgman.
Who? Oh! I know who this is. Oh, what's he in?
I can
what
tell you
is
right
it?
now that he's a PC.
What?
In the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercial, it was John Hodgman was the PC.
Right.
That
okay.
was so long ago, Sam. Come on.
That it's a cultural touchstone.
He'd be great. I'm really kind of indifferent about the priest.
Yeah.
There
I
weren't
really-
a lot of parts,
I
and especially
forgot
because I
he
didn't cast the
existed.
kids.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot. He just kind of is like, he's an obnoxious guy, and when magic's going weird, we can use him for some physical comedy.
Sure.
And
Fair.
that's kind of why I had him.
Weird side note. Did we ever find out why her bike was smoking yellow? That's
No.
just magic, right?
It could be. I'm also
That was-
comfortable. I'm also comfortable not knowing.
That was just a weird thing for them to like bring attention to and then never talk about again. But whatever, I'm over it. Okay, continue.
Well, I'd like it if she. Well, I mean, I'd like it if she has this moment where like she can't fly on a broomstick because it's super uncomfortable and bad, and she just like, I'm just gonna do the thing on my bike. It's fine. And then she
Yeah.
makes her bike fly, and I think that's more interesting.
Yeah.
And then of course they're like, well,
cool.
there's not room for all the kids on the bike, and also that's not safe. Let's use the bed.
I think we
Let's-
could play up her like clumsiness with witchcraft a lot more.
We can, but also, if you know you have a bad memory, write shit down. Like, I don't remember the spell, and I knew that wouldn't be able to make the trip across worlds.
She was so passive.
She didn't do shit.
Yeah. But I also just
That made me so mad.
I had a real thought for our remake, though.
Go ahead.
In terms of Bedknobs. Who has those these days?
I thought that too, but then I was like, we can't change the name.
We can't.
We can't. We did for one movie. We did for They Live.
Maybe they stumble into an abandoned stranger's house, and it's older house, and they have an old bed, and they're like, "What's this thing?"
They legitimately do that in the movie.
I know. So let's do that in modern times. Let's make.
Well, here's the thing: you set this movie in London. It's old British people. Old British people have weird
They'll
old
have
beds.
Bedknobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was setting mine in America. But whatever. I have Bedknobs.
I set mine in America too.
Yeah.
We'll
find a Bedknob.
Rich people in America have Bedknobs.
And also, my sister's bed when we were growing up had Bedknobs.
Yes, so did mine. I just have literally never seen one again. So
it's all those same Bedknobs where it's the white Bedknob with the little picture of the purple flowers on it with the gold and silver top. I've seen it on other beds just because it's that's the one Bedknob that still gets made.
Yeah.
And I like that the kid's in charge of it.
Yeah.
Also,
yes,
they
too.
fly to a not great area of London on a bed, then walk away and leave the bed there, and there isn't a homeless person sleeping on it when they come back.
Yeah, or nobody just notices that bed just chilling in the alley.
It's
whatever.
Look,
there's a lot that don't make sense, but it's
all I want her to do is to do a shrinking spell in the bed. She picks it up, puts it in her pocket.
Or they could do it like a Doc from Back to the Future. Where he just covers it with trash.
I've never liked that either. That's always bothered me because I am intrinsically nosy.
Hilarious.
So
who do we cast?
So right now we've got the mugger and we've got the bookman.
Right.
Let's start with the mugger.
His henchman dude?
Yeah, his henchman guy.
Cool.
Bethany, who'd you have for that?
So I did not actually cast those two because I did not like them and did not feel like their parts were big enough to be included in the remake. But since we are building up Bookman to be the real villain, he could be played by my old casting for Professor Brown,
Professor Brown?
That's Emilius.
Oh.
Who is that?
Get it together.
How many names do these people have?
10 million. When I was doing a British cast, I had Martin Freeman as Emilius. And he could very easily, we've always seen him as the lovable good guy, goofy good guy. It could be fun to see him play he charms Miss Price and the children because he wants to find this spell, but he's actually secretly devious.
I'm interested
that was me
by
just
that idea.
winging it on the spot. Continue, your guys.
My mugger and bookman kind of go together. I kind of have a big intimidating guy to play the mugger, and he's working with someone who is the actual scary one, who is not intimidating at all. He steps away, and it's this guy behind him, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So my mugger is Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh.
He plays
pure evil.
Yeah, well, he plays the comedian in Watchmen, and he's the scary dude with the bat in The Walking Dead.
He was also in Supernatural for a time, but got voted off because of Walking Dead. Basically. So he's just this big, intimidating dude. You see him, and he can be scary.
Yeah.
And that's why I had him.
I like him.
Bella, who'd you have?
I have Michael Fassbender.
Oh.
As the... All right.
So I want him kind of...
You wanted the smooth guy that he kind of portrays in the movie.
Yes, and kind of hidden. I like the idea of the pickpocket guy being someone that we sort of recognize as a villain, but he's maybe he has an eye patch or something where he wears his hat really low, and then it's revealed that it's him, and
You living in the land of cheesy cliches?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know why. Michael Fassbender creeps me out, but he's also really sexy.
Oh, and I think he's so attractive, so it wouldn't work for me.
But this guy was kind of attractive in a rugged sort of way. Is that the 1970s.
He's a weird
housewife in me.
white dude wearing like a zoot suit.
But he's got this bad boy charm.
I mean, he's
he's an
attractive
obnoxious prat.
He's like the most attractive male in literally the whole movie, probably. But that's just because he's like
It's slim
literally one
pickings.
of the only ones.
Really, you're gonna pick one of those dudes and not one of the clearly gay sailors?
Or the Nazis.
I didn't
Some
cast
of the Nazis
them.
were attractive.
I didn't cast the Nazis at all. But all right, so I think it'll matter who we have as our pairing.
Yeah.
So Bethany, you didn't have a bookman, but Bella, who'd you have for your bookman?
Robert Carlyle.
Robert Carlyle?
Yes.
Really? Interesting. Tell us why.
I thought of his portrayal of Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time. It was very similar.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've seen him, he was in this sci-fi show, which I can't remember the name of now, that was on Netflix a while ago. Didn't last very long. He's good at playing the kind of double agent type. And I like that he's very charming and suave and can be kind of proper, but then he can be like creepy as hell.
I think that's where we were putting the bookman. That's pretty good.
That's where we want him, so that's perfect.
Yeah. My bookman was Ken Jeong.
Okay.
Oh, sneaky. That would be a great comedic slash villainous character.
Yeah, because that's kind of why I picked him, because, I mean...
That actually works for how my casting is, so I like that.
So, I mean, the reason why I picked him is because I picked him to pair with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because it's this big, intimidating guy, and then Ken Jeong, and you're just like, what's going on?
Wait.
And you think he's all jovial and friendly and everything, but, like, I could totally see Ken Jeong stabbing someone in the back really easily, and just turning it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Bethany, between the two that we've got our Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Ken Jeong, and then we've got... I completely just blanked on his name.
Robert Carlyle.
Michael Fassbender and Robert Carlyle.
I'm not totally... I don't know why Michael Fassbender. I don't know.
Well, Bethany,
Throw that
who
away.
do you think? Be our tiebreaker.
I'm so sorry, Bella, but I very much like Sam's pairing.
I do too.
I don't
really like
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is definitely not who I would expect, and he's almost a little bit bigger than I want the henchman mugger guy to be, because I just feel like he's too well known now. But I think with our remake and extending the story, like, I think that we could very easily incorporate those two. I really
But I also like leaning into the fact that he's well known now, because he comes and gets them, and like you think he's going to be the big villain, and then he steps aside and he's not. He's just the henchman.
That's true.
Okay,
That's
one
I like
pitch
that.
that I just thought of.
All
just
right.
because I want to argue with you.
Great. Tell me. That's what this is all about.
I love the Bookman, but I mean, I love Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong. I love him so much, but I'm like,
who'd you come up with? Tell me.
Robert Carlyle paired with a kid.
Oh.
That's really creepy, and I don't like that at all.
Why?
Why is an old man hanging out with a young kid?
No, it's like an Oliver Twist and Dodger type thing.
That's creepy and weird too.
It's not
where
creepy.
he's
It's
a
his
bit
apprentice.
Right, but look, Fagin's doing all sorts of things.
Oh my gosh, Sam. Okay. Just wanted to throw it out there.
I appreciate the moxie.
I'm not talking about like a little kid. I'm talking about like a young kid.
So you want the old man to be hanging out with a twink?
Oh
No,
okay.
no. Fine. Excuse me.
Never mind. We'll go with
This
yours.
Portobello Road thing has gone to your head.
Go with yours.
I mean, I can see where you're going with this.
I 100% see where you're going with this. And it's certainly a fun idea.
Yes. If we have time in the writer's room, we'll play with this.
Yes.
Because this is a musical, right? Are we keeping it a musical? So I thought, it would be kind of cool to have the kids to have another kid.
Yeah.
To sort of counter.
Oh, and
he's working with the
like
Bookman.
an evil antagonistic kid?
Right, but then they
can
make that can be his arc. Is like he.
Well, we have a set of. We basically have three entities on our side. We have the good kids, we have Miss Price, and we have Emil, and we have Dr. Brown, whatever, Professor Brown. Mm-hmm. So let's do that. Let's have three entities in the other set. Let's have the Bookman, let's have the Mugger, and let's have a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that way it's 2-on-2 for adults, and then the three good kids versus the one bad kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And to do that, let's pull in one of Bethany's three kids. So Bethany, of the three kids you picked,
I already know.
Go on. Tell us who.
No, Bethany, you can do it.
No, I feel like it would be Noah Joop.
Oh.
Was that who you were thinking?
I wanted it to be Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Prince. Oh my God. Well,
She's
she
just
could
such a little whippersnapper.
She seems...
But which one of these kids can be evil?
Her.
She could. Yeah, she really could.
All right.
And I love the idea of it being a girl.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it has to be a
because
girl.
if we did
Very
keep
disarming.
the two boys and then Carrie in the middle, then there's a girl
I
to
agree.
like even that out.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Brooklyn Prince. Done.
All right,
And then
let's do it.
the bookman and the henchman are hanging out with a little girl. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I also
Sam?
think it's a good idea because you're right. But not better.
Maybe she's a granddaughter of Bookman or something like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
kind of well trained up to...
We'll just assume that Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Ken Jeong are her two dads.
Yeah.
Which is-
then we're
Well, no, because I just had a whole conversation when I was talking about Superman. Chris, who I was having this conversation with, but basically he was talking about he wants more queer representation in films, but as the villains. Because
Really?
the gay
Yeah.
people are almost always the good guys.
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But doesn't that kind of then give people fuel to be like they're deviant, blah?
Yeah. I think
I
that's
mean,
part, I
not
think
if they're
that's
not if
why
they're raising their
there's
kid
Well,
to be.
if the henchman has a turn, like an arc where he's not bad.
Well, look, I think they could legitimately care about this kid, and like they could raise her and whatever. I don't think that it's the relationship with the kid that should be suspect. It's just the things that like their end goal.
Right.
I mean, evil people have good relationships with their kids. That's a legitimate thing.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm just kind of faffing about. Like, I don't really care if they're like a couple. Like, they could just be, we work together. Hey, here's this kid who works for us too. This street urchin who didn't want to go into the system.
We took her in, and now
They
she
could
works
also be
for
her
us.
uncle.
We kept trying to throw her out, but she kept coming back, and now we're just like, all right, fine, you may as well work with us.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So that brings us to our big two, our Emilius and our Miss Price.
Woo!
I mean, obviously we have to end on our Miss Price. Mine's
Yeah.
kind of a little bit of a stunt casting, but let's talk about Emilius.
All right.
Who wants to go first?
I have something fun, kind of, with Emilius, because the person that I cast as Emilius, I was also thinking, okay, say we bring the wizard or sorcerer or whatever he was, Astaroth, into this. Like, we do, like, a exposition flashback or whatever about his magic and what happened with the animals and everything. This would be a good person to play that character. But my casting for Professor Emilius Brown, I thought, should be Will Arnett.
Interesting. I can see that. That's clever casting.
He's a magician.
That's very similar to the logic I had.
Okay, cool. Great.
Okay.
I also cast a magician, but I needed a magician who can sing and dance. So who do you think I cast? Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh.
No.
No?
I can't.
No? You don't want
I
a
can
singing,
see
dancing
that.
magician?
I can see that, but I don't like him as a person anymore, so I don't want him
Oh
to
no,
be in
what
our
did he
movie.
do? What did he do?
He just, like, okay, well, it's funny, because this will tie it in with who I want to be the director and writer and everything of all of this, but I don't know if I should reveal that just yet.
Don't reveal that just yet, but
Okay.
This is just might be a side thing and I might cut out. What did Neil Patrick Harris do?
Well, he basically, I don't know, he just, like, doesn't, I don't know, pay attention to the people he works with. He, like, mentioned in this tweet about this particular person that I chose that he, like, didn't know who she was, and she responded with, she's like, well, like, I'm on this, and I'm on this, and oh yeah, my husband was a writer on How I Met Your Mother for 5 years, and oh yeah, we've met like 10 times, and all this stuff, and I was just like, is he so big now that he can't, and she's like a very famous person, so I'm like, that he doesn't know how to Google or look up who this person is.
That's
It
a terrific reason to not go with him because it sounds like he's an asshole. Great.
It was very off-putting, even though I very much love him as an actor. I don't like him as a person.
Well, that means that Will Arnett is definitely winning right now. Bella, can you beat him?
Yes.
I chose, and I may not say his name right, and I'm very sorry. Asif Mandvi.
Asif Manvi?
Asif Mandvi.
Asif Manvi is an interesting pick.
Ooh, wait, what is he in?
He was one of the correspondents on The Daily Show. He's done a bunch of other things
yes,
since then.
Interestingly
Yeah.
enough, recently he was with Neil Patrick Harris in the series of unfortunate events
That's
Oh.
right.
Series.
Interesting.
I was thinking about the kids in Series of Unfortunate Events for this as well.
No.
Because they're bad?
That whole
terrible.
show pisses me off.
I'm sorry.
Me too, but we won't get into it.
Yeah, that show is what made me not like Neil Patrick Harris anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but as soon as I'm blanking on the name of the actual actor in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Whatever.
As soon as he started talking and moving about, I was like, oh my god, Asif? Asif, sorry.
Asif
I
Mandvi.
haven't heard his name said out loud very much. Asif, popped into my head, and I was like, he's got the great voice for it.
That's a cool idea.
I like that.
He's just got this kind of, he's fun, he's comedic, but he's also, got that suave thing that I think
agree.
we want.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's go with Asif Mandvi.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Miss Price, our witch.
Yeah.
I'm going to go first for this one because I want to talk about why I cast who I cast.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason Bedknobs and Broomsticks has been on my radar as a movie to be redone is months, at the beginning of the year, there was a poster that went around that was a poster basically showing someone portraying Miss Price with a big Bedknobs and Broomsticks sign over it. Later, a Snopes article came out saying that poster was fake. So, but I've had the idea to redo Bedknobs and Broomsticks since then. But because of that, I kind of liked who they cast as Miss Price. She kind of works for me and fits in my brain.
Okay.
And the person who was on this poster was Kate Winslet.
I had a thought about her too.
Ooh.
I was thinking about, what was it? Yeah, I was looking at my DVD collection and I saw Eternal Sunshine and I was like, ooh, Kate Winslet would be good. But I didn't fully pick her, but I could totally see that.
Because she's good casting, so that's why everyone was like, this is a believable poster.
And she would be so great at being just quirky and weird, but also just extremely charming and loving and
Yeah.
I do like that.
That's why I picked Kate Winslet. All right, now you both can say Kate Blanchett at the same time.
I did also pick Kate Blanchett, but that's not who my official choice was. That was when I was doing my British casting.
Yeah, all right. So tell me who you both had for Miss Price.
Isabella, you go first.
Okay, I picked Melanie Lynskey.
I don't know who that is.
She was in, you love
she's the
Over
voice,
the Garden Wall?
Yeah,
she's
the voice of the bird.
And she's in I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore with Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
It was a really cool
Another Elijah Wood piece.
It was a dark comedy indie that was at Sundance a couple years ago.
Yeah. She's a great character actress, and she's got a great voice, too.
Yeah, her voice is what made me think of her. And she's kind of, similarly to Angela Lansbury, she's got this softness about her, but also this sort of nerdiness.
Yeah.
And, I think I liked...
That's a cool choice.
She's got this, innocent, youthful energy, but also has a kind of little bit of a dorky old lady vibe.
And she's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I first saw her in Ever After with Drew Barrymore, where she does play a British person.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
It's such a good movie, but then I started seeing her in other movies, and she had 10 different accents. She can literally pull off any character. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's a great voice actor.
So Bethany, who did you have?
All right, so I have a front runner and a runner up because I couldn't. Okay, here's what I'm gonna pick. Here's the front runner, Kristen Bell.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Because of her musical prowess, but also because she's just hilarious and charming and weird, and also she's just very dorky too.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Kristen Bell and I'm sad she's married. But the important thing is...
Yes.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. I also had a very weird flip side casting that Zach actually came up with, and the more I thought about it, I was like, oh shit, that's great.
All right, let's hear it.
Octavia Spencer.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Very, very, very different, but none of the rest, the rest of my casting doesn't really work with her at all. But I just, she seems like this very sort of worldly motherly type who would be very into wanting to find magical spells for like the purest reasons, and I don't know.
I totally see that.
I could see it.
Cool. I'm not especially passionate about either of those choices, unfortunately. I'm split
on earth.
Well,
Kristen Bell is
I love
perfect.
Kristen Bell. I love Kristen Bell. I
feel like she doesn't match with a lot of the other like feel of the cast that we've picked so far.
Yeah,
how much stuff?
The reason why I kind of like
Kristen
Miss Price
Bell?
is because it's an older character who.
Yeah, I went young in this regard because I wanted a younger Miss Price.
I feel like Kristen Bell is who would get cast, but I don't think she's who should get cast. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess.
I mean, if we had to choose between Kate Winslet and Melanie Lynskey,
I honestly no, I do actually like both of your choices a lot better. I equally like all three, but I could, in terms of how we've been casting so far, I would be very into either choice.
Well,
I think it has to do with the pair, because I think that Kate Winslet and Will Arnett go well together.
Right.
But then I picture Melanie Lynskey and
Asif
Mandvi go well together.
You know what?
Stature and...
I agree with that. And if we're
I do too.
If we're gonna go with Asif Mandvi, I think then in that case we have to go with Melanie Lynskey.
And I say let's do it. Go for it.
I want to make this so bad.
I know. Right?
So that leaves. Are there any other characters that we have not cast that you two had?
I didn't cast any more characters, but I did come up with who I want to be writing and or directing and or songwriting this production.
Right.
Cool.
That's who I figured we had left, but we don't have any more of our in front of the camera.
No,
people.
I don't have any others.
Great. So let's talk. So Bethany, did you have a writer-director or did you have a writer and a director?
I have a writer, songwriter.
Interesting.
Because of how wonderful she is.
And Bella, did you have...
I just have writer-director.
So you each only have one person?
I have two people.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's hear Bethany's pitch for her wonderful codifying unit. And she's going to say Rachel Bloom in 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
There it is.
Rachel Bloom.
Oh, I love that.
Just because she's made musicals current and fun again, and like she's so brilliant. She knows how to make things extremely relatable and poignant, but also just like fun and hilarious and crazy and crazy ex-girlfriend. But she's like, I just feel like she could nail it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Rachel Bloom. That's why we used her in the Barbarella episode we did.
Ah, well then.
But all right, so we've got Rachel Bloom on the board. Let me introduce my writer, and then Bella will hear yours.
Cool.
Yeah.
My writer is Jason Katims. I'm definitely pronouncing
Jason
that
Katims.
wrong.
Yeah.
Katims?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he does Friday Night Lights, he does Parenthood, and most recently he is doing Rise.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. Okay.
And the reason why...
Wait, I need to look him up, because keep talking. I'm going to look him up and find out what shows that I love that he did.
A lot of them. The reason why I picked him is because, well, he's in this world of music as well, but I picked him because this is a fun, light movie, but I wouldn't, strictly speaking, call it a comedy. It's an earnest movie, and it's a movie with heart. And that's kind of the shows that he does. He does his...
Yes, I agree. He did Roswell. That's why I'm freaking out. Sorry.
Got it. So there you go.
Thank you, Bethany.
You bested me again, Sam.
Bella, who do you have?
For my writer, I have David McGee, I think, or David Maggi. I think it's McGee.
Yeah.
I think it's McGee.
Yeah, McGee.
What did David McGee do?
He did Life of Pi, Finding Neverland, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, Chronicles of Narnia, and The Mary Poppins Returns.
Yep.
So I feel like that's the genre
good pick
that he's been
knows,
working with.
He
knows
it
about
all.
adaptation. Yeah.
I like it.
That's interesting. Good. Let's figure out who we have for our director as well, because that may affect that as well, because again, we want to have a good pairing. But that's also an excellent choice.
Yeah.
My director is Eric Stoltz.
Oh.
I'm such a bad film buff right now. Oh
Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly in Back to the Future who got replaced, but he's also been a director in a lot of episodes of Glee. This is one of those times where I actually had a bunch of other people as possible backup directors, but the reason... because I was trying to find a British director. Like, I actually was looking for someone who grew up kind of with the source material was British. But here's the thing about British directors. A lot of the ones I found are either strictly television or strictly movies, and that's not kind of the American way of doing things.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to put a British director into something that wasn't their comfort zone. Because there's, like, I have Tristan Shapiro, and just all these British people, but... And then I looked up who directed the Scrubs musical episode, and it's a guy named Will Mackenzie, who's 80 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, oh my god. Eric Stoltz was John Brooke in Little Women. Okay, I like it, but keep going.
But that's why I came back to Eric Stoltz, just because he's an actor's director, because he's an actor. Mm-hmm. And he also has lots of experience directing musicals, and directing musicals that are both dramatic and fun and light. Mm-hmm. And of all the directors for Glee, that's the one that I'm like, he seems interesting, because I didn't do background for very long, but I did do background for about a year and a half when I moved to LA, and he was a director on an episode of Glee that I did, because Glee has their prom episode. And Eric Stoltz loved directing the Glee prom episode because he and everyone in the crew would get to dress up and wear fancy suits. And he liked encouraging people. He didn't require it, but he liked encouraging people to do it because it's an opportunity for us to have fun and us actually to go to prom.
Yeah.
And he just seemed like a fun person, and that's why I thought that this would be cool, because I guarantee he grew up with this movie as well.
Cool. I like that idea. I have Julie Taymor.
Oh.
Because I was like, I want a woman director, because
how
strong female lead, and I think that that's only right. I also...
She did Across the Universe.
She did Across the Universe.
I love Across the Universe.
She did Frida. She did The Tempest, Midsummer Night's Dream. So she knows the old style, and then she also has such a great theater background that I thought that she would be able to handle the like musical aspect and keep some of the like old stage musical style in it, especially for Portobello Road.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her art direction is always fantastic, and I was thinking about if we do keep the 2D animation, I'm sure that she would have some cool, like, her Julie Taymor style seeped into Bedknobs and Broomsticks is really appealing to me.
I love that idea.
Especially with the battle at the end.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, like, we would still keep, even if it's modern day setting, we might still keep some of those, like, old antiques.
Well, my pitch for the end battle isn't obviously versus the Nazis. It'll just be like the two magicians like having a magical battle. Which I think would be awesome, and it can take a form of whatever.
Well, going back to what we were talking about with like unexpected effects and practical effects, I thought of Julie Taymor's work on Across the Universe with all those giant puppets with I think it was Bread and Circus.
Oh yeah.
And then she also does Lion King on Broadway. Like, she just has a great eye for that type of stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
Here's my pitch. I think we should have Rachel Bloom writing the songs, Jason Katims writing the script, and Julie Taymor directing.
Not David
super on board.
Sure.
Great. So that is our movie.
Wow.
So let me do a walkthrough of exactly what it is we have. We are remaking Bedknobs and Broomsticks, starring 3 unknown Syrian children who will be found and discovered and will be brought to forefront and will be the adorable children that everyone is in love with. They were going to deal with all sorts of magical things, and they're going to travel to another world where they're going to meet a lion, a cod, a bird, and a bear. The lion will be Idris Elba, the cod will be D. Bradley Baker, the bird will be Jenny Slate, and the bear is Maurice Lamarche. When they go to this magical world, the cat, owned by Miss Price, will be played by Julie Andrews. And then, in the real world, we have the antagonists of a priest, played by John Hodgman, and we have a mugger, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, with an evil child, played by Brooklyn Pierce, who both work for the Bookman.
Prince.
What?
Brooklyn Prince.
Brooklyn, what did I say, Pierce?
Yeah.
Yeah. The evil kid, played by Brooklyn Prince, and they both work for the Bookman, who's going to be played by Ken Jeong. And then we have our Emilius, our Professor Brown, played by Asif Manvi, and our Miss Price, played by Melanie Lynskey. Our writer will be Jason Katims, who'll be working with Rachel Bloom, who'll be writing the songs. And our director will be Julie Taymor, as they work on the movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which will be known far and wide for its hit song, Port of Bella Road. That
like
is our movie. We know
so
Bella's new
excited.
at podcasting because she keeps clapping.
Sorry.
Yeah. But it's fun.
Yay!
I like it. Well done, team.
So, you gonna watch this movie?
I am gonna make this movie.
We're gonna make this movie. Oh my god, am I gonna watch this movie? I'm gonna make sure that it's watchable this time.
I would be so psyched to see this.
Yeah.
Right?
So, Bethany, where can people find you on the internet?
Megan, well,
If you don't want them to find you on the internet, that's fine.
not just yet.
All right.
You'll find me. I mean, I have an Instagram account, but it's private, so like, I guess they can request me there. But
Look, this episode's not going to go up for about a month, so...
okay, cool. Well, maybe in a month's time, I'll have my dog photography website up. In which case, look up Bethany Huwe dog photography, and then somehow you'll maybe find it.
I love it. Bella, tell us about your online presence.
I am also very private.
Oh, good.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
I'm so excited for all the promoting of this episode you two will both be doing.
So much promoting.
Hey, I promote the hell out of things on Instagram.
Yeah, and Facebook. Listen, yeah, I know a lot of people via Instagram and Facebook. A lot of people just don't know me, so it's fine.
New England and Colorado are going to light up with
Yeah.
all of the
Ours-
people.
I know a lot
So
of
gonna light
humans, face to
Yeah.
face, who I will
That's-
talk to about it.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the BB bump.
Yeah, word of mouth is gonna... listen, I work at a popular restaurant in Echo Park. Word of mouth is gonna be
Oh,
incredible.
name dropping all over the place. Well, thank you both very much for... Oh, right, me.
Yeah, what
So
about
the
you? Who are
podcast
you?
is on Facebook and Twitter at Ideal Remake. And I, Sam Gasch, am followable on Twitter at Sam Gasch, which is my name, SamGasch. And you should do those things because they're great. Yay.
Yay.
So thank you both very much for being guests on the show.
Thank you,
Thank
Sam.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for asking us to be on this. It's a very special time for me and Isabella to be on a podcast together. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
So
Yeah,
good.
this was so much fun.
I very much enjoyed this, and I hope that everyone enjoys listening to all of the things that we said with our mouths.
Me
did
too.
good.
I'm trying to come up with like a reference to the movie to close this out on, and I feel like just rambling on.
Welcome to the age of believing. Going with the cheesy cliche.
There it is.
And then just do like a little like bell jingle sound effect after that.